February 13, 1866. Liberty, Missouri. Just past noon in a town still scarred by Civil War, 10 riders halted outside the Clay County Savings Association. They moved with purpose, military purpose. These were not common thieves. They were former Confederate guerrillas, trained in ambush and terror during Bloody Bill Anderson's raids. And among them, 19-year-old Jesse James. In 90 seconds, they seized $60,000, over $1 million today. But this was no triumph. As they fled, they shot dead William Wymore, an unarmed 19-year-old student who'd stepped into the street. His death exposes the robbery's brutal truth. This was vengeance, disguised as banditry. Why target this bank? Clay County Savings funded Union Reconstruction loans. The gang left a calling card, a handwritten note boasting, "Rebels still rule Missouri." Newspapers splashed the story nationwide. This wasn't just a crime, it was a declaration of war on America's fragile peace. To understand Jesse James, we must return to Missouri's Civil War, a conflict so savage it was called the border bleeding. Here, brother fought brother. Farms became battlegrounds. In 1863, Jesse, just 16, rode with Bloody Bill Anderson. Their raid on Lawrence, Kansas left 200 unarmed men dead. Union reports confirmed Jesse participated. This wasn't soldiering, it was total war against civilians. The Union struck back. Order number 11 forced 20,000 Missourians from their homes. Farms burned, fields salted. Jesse's family fled. When the war ended in 1865, Missouri's war did not. Ex-Confederates lost their rights. Union militias hunted bushwhackers. Jesse saw no peace, only betrayal. The Liberty Bank robbery was continuation of war by other means, targeting symbols of Union power. Missouri remained a tinderbox. And what about Jesse James? To defeated Southerners, he was avenging angel. To the Union, a terrorist. By 1869, Jesse James was no longer a soldier. He was a wanted man, and the railroads hired professional hunters to stop him. That December in Gallatin, Missouri, he walked into the Daviess County Savings Bank alone. Minutes later, cashier John W. Sheets lay dead. Witnesses swore Jesse shot him point blank, shouting, "This is for Bloody Bill Anderson." Why kill Sheets? Jesse mistook him for Samuel P. Cox, the Union militia officer who gunned down Anderson in 1864. It was revenge, misfired. Enter John Newman Edwards, the man who made Jesse a legend. A Confederate propagandist turned newspaper editor, Edwards published Jesse's letters, spinning the gang as Knights of the Brush, noble rebels resisting Yankee oppression. After the 1873 Rocky Cut train robbery, Edwards claimed Jesse shouted, "We rob the rich to give to the poor." No eyewitness ever confirmed this. The reality? Loot funded hideouts and weapons, not the poor. Victims piled up. Banks and railroads hired the Pinkerton National Detective Agency, a private police force known for ruthless manhunts. In 1875, Allen Pinkerton's agents surrounded the James farm. A firebomb tossed into the home killed Jesse's 8-year-old half-brother Archie and tore off his mother Zerelda's arm. Public outrage sided with Jesse. Even the New York Times condemned the act as barbarism. Jesse's downfall began where his myth was weakest, Minnesota. In 1876, seeking bigger spoils, the gang rode north to Northfield, a Union stronghold. They brought Missouri's war to people who'd never heard of Bloody Bill Anderson. On September 7, 1876, the James Younger gang attempted to rob the First National Bank of Northfield. This raid was a catastrophic failure for the gang. Bank teller Joseph Lee Haywood refused to open the vault and was murdered. The alert townspeople of Northfield armed themselves and fought back ferociously. The result was a bloody shootout in the street that left gang members Clell Miller and Bill Chadwell dead, and most of the others badly wounded. The younger brothers were captured. Jesse and Frank escaped, but their reign of terror was over. Spring 1882. Jesse James was 34 years old and already a ghost. After Northfield, his gang was shattered. Jesse hid in St. Joseph under the alias Thomas Howard. But paranoia consumed him. He trusted no one, not even the Ford brothers, Charlie and Robert. The Fords were not part of the original James Younger Gang's famous raids, like Northfield. Instead, they were latecomers and associates who insinuated themselves into Jesse James's inner circle in his final years, specifically 1881 to 1882. Robert Ford was 20, ambitious and tempted by a fortune. Missouri's governor promised Ford the reward for Jesse's corpse. On April 3rd, as Jesse stood on a chair to straighten an embroidered linen artwork stitched with the words, "God bless our home," Ford drew his .44 caliber Smith & Wesson. Jesse's back was turned. Ford shot him behind the right ear. The body fell. Ford shouted, "I killed Jesse James." Within hours, telegraphs blazed the news. Crowds gathered. Zerelda James identified her son by a scarred finger, a relic of a wartime misfire. The public reaction defied expectations. Though the governor hailed Ford as a hero, Missourians mourned. Robert Ford became the dirty little coward. The killer fled, reviled. On April 6, 1882, Jesse was buried on his family farm. Only 12 attended. Yet dime novels sold millions. Frank James sold pebbles from Jesse's grave for 25 cents each. Jesse James was dead, but America was just beginning his story. Dime novels sold him as a rebel saint. Stage plays wept over his tragic end. Frank James joined a Wild West show, drawing crowds eager to touch the brother of Jesse. The Outlaw became an industry, yet the facts were buried with the victims. Joseph Haywood, the Northfield teller who died shielding a vault, was forgotten. William Weimer's murder in Liberty faded from lore. Jesse killed 17 verified victims. His gang maimed dozens more. This wasn't rebellion. It was a cycle of violence that fed on itself. So why the myth? To defeated Southerners, Jesse was vengeance against Reconstruction. To industrial laborers, he fought robber baron railroads. Even the U.S. government fueled his fame. When Ford received only $800 of his reward, it cemented Jesse as the man the system couldn't buy. But the truth lay in Jesse's own words. "I live only to make those who ruined me suffer. Not freedom, not justice, revenge." Today, the paradox endures. In Kearney, Missouri, 50,000 visit Jesse's grave yearly. Yet down the road, a plaque honors Joseph Haywood, quietly maintained. What are we mourning? The man or the myth? The bushwhacker who waged war on civilians? Or the symbol we crafted to soothe our fractured history? America chose the outlaw over his victims. Why? That is Jesse James's true legacy. History is not what happened, it is who we remember and why.